The goal of this video is to see how we can create step-by-step an AI chatbot that we can add to our website or to our app that will respond based on the documentation that we have set up. So there will be some RAG involved for knowledge retrieval, because we will be making sure that it answers based on very long PDFs and website content. So I've got here an app that's a knowledge base app, so an internal tool for a company. It will just serve as the example where we will be integrating that chatbot. So this will be a Softr app where we will be embedding that chatbot. We will be building that chatbot within n8n because they provide very easy to integrate chat functionalities and are very great to orchestrate some workflow steps, especially when it involves AI. And lastly, for the knowledge retrieval part, we will be using Lookio, which is the platform that I have built to make it super easy for businesses to build deep RAG agents that basically answer based on their resources. So the process to implement Lookio is that you will upload all the files that you want to add to this knowledge base. Then you can create assistants that you configure with some context and some guidelines on how to reply. And then you get your API key to actually call these AI RAG assistants via API. And we will be doing that from n8n. So let's get started. I have created a new account on Lookio.app, and I will now be uploading new resources. So Lookio supports 3 types of resources, either files, URLs, or plain text. And for files, we could be, for example, uploading all PDFs or docx or TXT files. So here's an example. We have some PDFs, but also some unsupported files. And we will see that, only our PDFs are being imported. And then for each, we can give a title that will be leveraged when the assistant will be retrieving information from that source, but also a URL if we want some automated backlinking, for example, if we're using that actually to create SEO content. Or if we simply want our support chatbot to include links that the user can click to explore the resources further. So in our case, I will be adding 3 URLs that are resources about carbon accounting, sustainability, decarbonization. There are great articles from the company I used to work for, Plan A, and we will be adding those as a resource for our assistant. So we can either add them one by one or just put them here together and parse it. So I'll hit continue, and we see that it automatically fetched the resource title. We will just add Plan A article for each and process these URLs. Perfect. I had already added some PDFs that are basically here 3 very complete files about all methodologies and protocols when it comes to calculating emissions. So here it's a 50,000 words, so probably hundreds of pages of PDF. And we see here that our 3 resources as URLs have been processed as well. And we are now ready to create assistants on top of this data. So I will head over here in creating assistants and we will give it a name. Then some context, for example, you help the user understand carbon accounting and answer all their questions related to how to calculate emissions, how to reduce them, what are the different methodologies. And here the output guidelines are very important, so you can shape the way the answers of these API calls to this assistant will look like. Here, for example, write in American English, be quite concise, and always include hyperlinks to the sources when there's one. Perfect. Now it's time to select if the assistant can go through all resources or just some of them. In our case, we have only resources about that topic, so I'll go for that one. Perfect. Our assistant is ready, and we could already create a test query to see how it would respond. So you can use Flash, for example, when you need very fast responses. It costs 3 credits per query. For Eco, it's 1 credit per query, but it is a bit slower than Flash. And for Deep, it's 20 credits per query, but you get incredible performance. So it all depends on your use case. Let's use Flash in our case. But again, this is just for testing purpose, as the real use case is to use the API. So I just trigger here a test query, And yeah, the flash mode takes between 5 and 15 seconds, depending on the complexity. Yeah, here under 10. And we see an example response. And that's what we could be automating. So the next step is to go over here in API settings and to be creating an API key. So for example, perfect, and that's the key that we will then be able to add as a credential whenever we call these APIs. So I'll go back to my assistant and open here the API details, where I could either get the command here for the API call, or because we will be building in n8n, I will simply copy the n8n node and moving to here and simply paste that. And the API call is already all set up. I just need to replace here my API key. But what we will do instead of setting it as a header, I will just add it as a generic authentication. I will add here a header and create a new credential where I paste the API key. And as you can see here in the API docs, you'll be placing your API key as a header under that name. And that's how in n8n you can save your credentials here without having to put them all the time in there. So my assistant ID has already been set up because I copied the n8n node from my assistant page. So this is all set up, and I just have to replace this with my query. So now what we will actually be doing is that we will create a chatbot, a chat trigger within n8n that allows to get a publicly available chat that we can, if I turn this on, that we can already access here from the web. And this is what we will later be able to integrate directly within our app to get a widget of these chatbots that our users can access. And what's important here is that we want a chatbot experience where we can send multiple messages and maybe follow up on the previous message. So we will ask how to do this, and then we ask like, okay, but what about this technique? And it should remember what has been said. So actually, in this workflow, we could use two techniques. Either we use the chat memory manager that n8n provides, or we use an AI agent that will actually be the sort of parent AI brain that our chatbot has. And it will have Lookio as a tool. So it will actually be, and I think that's a great solution here. Let's say the user says hi. You might not want to run a Lookio query asking hi, because here the agent should just understand that this is not a use case for calling this deep RAG service, because actually it should just reply, hey, what do you want to know about carbon accounting? So in this case, I would recommend to use an agent where we would add a chat model. For example, 4.1 mini is great. And here the memory, as I was telling, we can add here a simple memory where the agent will automatically remember the 7 previous messages based on a session ID that will be generated whenever someone opens a conversation. And we will use Lookio as a tool. So here I need to use the HTTP request as a tool this time. And I'll be getting the curl from the API details of that assistant here. So I can paste them in here. Perfect. I remove these headers and I go for a generic credential to have my Lookio demo. Okay, so now we have this Lookio tool. Let's call it knowledge retrieval. And this is important because we will then prompt our agent. So the user message is automatically here, that user message, so it's perfect. And we will be adding a system message. And that's the place where we will tell, you are a helpful assistant about carbon accounting. When you're being asked about carbon accounting, decarbonization, sustainability, etc., you will always call the tool. And here we place our tool name, because this is the tool that will give you the knowledge that you will leverage to answer the user. And you will never answer anything about carbon accounting that's not provided by this knowledge retrieval tool. And you should never answer anything that's not related to this topic. Of course, if the user just says hi or something like that, you will not be calling the tool, but just or directing the conversation towards like seeing if you can assist them about anything related to carbon accounting. Okay, so this is a pretty simple prompt, and you could be, of course, like improving it, but for now, I think this will work just great. And I think we are already, almost ready to test it. The only missing part is here. Let's give also a description to this tool. Call this tool to get insights about carbon accounting. You will be passing a query to ask to a knowledge retrieval AI so that you get all the related insights. Okay, so having the mention of the tool within the system prompt of the AI agent, plus having a good name and a good description, is really a great way to make sure that your agent will be calling this tool in the right way, or at least to increase the chances that this happens. Now, the last part is here. Instead of the value, for example, for the assistant ID, we place that in a static way because we don't want the AI to actually change that. Same for the query mode. Here, Flash is actually perfect, but the query is the only value that the AI will define. So we could, we just have to click here, let the model define this parameter, and we could describe if we wanted to tell, to prefer, for example, short questions, etc., to give some more information. But here, I think the information that we have provided are enough. So let's see in action how it works. I'll be testing it here in the n8n interface before like pushing it live into our app. But if I say hi, I hope it will not be calling that tool, because it's not necessary, and this is a way to actually avoid burning credits if you have multiple tools, or to make sure the responses are as fast as you can. And here actually our model is not a big model, it's 4.1 mini, but it's very much enough to actually orchestrate the tool calling or these mini conversations. So I'll be asking here this time something related to carbon accounting. Hey, how can a fashion company actually calculate their Scope 3 emissions? This time, the model here should decide, and it has done it, to actually call that tool, and it will take these like 6-8 seconds to actually get the answer via API, and then the agent will take this answer and return it to the user. Perfect. And because we have configured our agent, it's also quite conversational, asking, would you like more guidance, etc. Whereas here, it could be that the output was not asking if they want more information, because we have configured this assistant to just return knowledge. Whereas here, our agent is taking this knowledge from this API call of Lookio, and is actually taking it and like reformatting it to give it to the final user. We could find ways to improve the performance, especially the latency, by using a model that's a bit faster. For example, OpenRouter, we could be having Gemini Flash September preview, which is very good. This way, if we ask the same question, we should see that the tool call, etc., will all be quite fast, and overall our final answer should be provided quicker. So we now have the skeleton of our agent, and we could of course be adding some more elements to it. For example, storing the information somewhere in a database, etc. But right now, let's see how we can integrate it within our app. So I'll be copying this chat URL here, and I will open maybe Gemini and copying this chat URL. and opening npm n8n chatbot widget. Yeah, perfect. Because this is the page where all the information about how to embed this within your website is being done. And it also contains information about how you can style this. So I'll be pasting all these contents into Gemini and say, hey, I need you to help me write the exact code that I will add in the footer custom code of my website to integrate an n8n workflow. So my n8n workflow URL is the following. And I'm sharing here as well all the instructions that n8n provides to style and customize the chatbot widget. Overall, I want it to look pretty modern. I want it to be kind of black and white. Perfect. I will hit submit and we'll see what we get. Okay, great. We have a code and let's try it out. So we'll make sure, yeah, our workflow is still active. And I will be opening my website. So here it's a Softr app. And let's say that I want to enable that for all pages. So I'll actually add it to the custom code header or footer of the whole app, the whole website. And yeah, I'll be publishing that, or like let's preview our app. And here we see that suddenly we have this this widget. We can click and start a new conversation and say hi. So here we should have a very fast answer. Amazing. That's, yeah, tells us about the context and say this time, what are ways to reduce emissions for any company? And here, this time it should be calling the Lookio tool to get very good quality RAG. So the biggest benefit is to make sure it doesn't use the generic knowledge of ChatGPT or all these AI that is outdated, that is not expert, that is sometimes not accurate, but it is using all the knowledge that we have imported within our PDFs, within the URLs that we have added. And Lookio is handling all the complexity of the knowledge retrieval, these RAG, like deep RAG, multi-query, etc. Workflows to make sure that, yeah, in the API response we provide here to our AI agent all the relevant information, and the agent is able to reformulate them as a user message. So as you've seen, in a couple minutes, we can have some really solid RAG integrated within our app, within our public-facing website. So you can imagine, for example, having your prospects asking questions about your product. For example, hey, how could I use, like, can I use your product for that use case? And it will be looking into your knowledge base that tells everything about your product to actually advise this prospect and tell what product to go for, etc. But you could also couple Lookio as a tool here with another tool that maybe can schedule meetings with your sales team. And that way, your prospects can say, oh, how to do this, how to do that, etc. And then you can prompt your AI agent to actually, if it detects that there is a great intent for your actual solution, then it would say, hey, do you want me to facilitate like scheduling a call with us? And at this time, if the prospect is okay, then it would be using another tool that would this time, help scheduling this call. So you can really build on top of that. And I'll be sharing this n8n workflow templates in the description, so you can take a look at it. I'll be also giving the link to Lookio, the link to n8n, so you can have everything you need to get started and basically build these very solid knowledge retrieval workflows thanks to this platform Lookio that makes it very easy for you to import your documents, create your assistants, get an API key to start automating all of that. So hope this was useful. Feel free to share any feedback or any ideas that you have in comments.